From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Weekly.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Weekly. We're glad you joined us for this look at what's happening in and around Troy University. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Well, Troy University's Center for Student Success is now officially named for the man who inspired its creation. On Saturday, Troy University officially dedicated the Center for Student Success in honor of former Troy administrator Dr. John Schmidt. Schmidt served the university in a number of administrative positions for 20 years before retiring in July. The university felt it was important to name the center for Schmidt because he was instrumental in its creation.
It makes me proud to be a Trojan, number one, but it also makes me proud that this will serve other students to hopefully help them persist, hopefully add value to their education, not just in the classroom, but outside the classroom too. So for that, it makes me feel, I'm grateful, I feel joy, and I feel pride.
Now, John Schmidt, I've known him for 50 years, and he's probably one of the most unselfish, student-focused people I've ever known. And so for us to recognize him, in effect, is a great honor for us. So we honor him, but it's an honor to this university to have his name attached in a permanent way to a facility like this.
The John Schmidt Center for Student Success is located in Eldridge Hall. And also on Saturday, Troy University welcomed a few fresh faces to campus for Trojan Day. High schoolers looking for their college home had the chance to meet and mingle with campus organizations and also see the Trojans play. Sarah Singletary was there for all the action.
Saturday morning, Trojan Arena was filled with possible incoming students for Trojan Day. Campus organizations had tables set up around the concourse, hoping to grab student attention. An organization chairman tells us what he hopes students gathered from his display.
I hope they come and they understand that, hey, we're in charge of all the campus activities. We make campus fun, and the more involved you are, the better your college experience is going to be.
Troy students and faculty kept the morning moving with an admissions presentation and campus tours.
The main purpose of a Trojan Day is to give a lot of students their first experience of the Troy campus. For a lot of these students, it's the first time they're stepping onto the Troy property, and so we want to give them a good experience.
With several colleges and universities across the state, students here today are facing a major decision. One high school senior tells us what makes Troy University stand out to her.
I've been on a lot of campus tours, and so far, Troy has been like the one place that has felt like home to me. Like all the other universities, I kind of felt like uncomfortable, and now I'm here and I'm like, this is home. Like everyone's homey and everyone's like your friend and they'll talk to you. And I just feel really comfortable here, and I feel like I'd have a good college experience here.
Sarah Singletary, Troy TrojanVision News.
Admissions holds a Trojan Day for prospective students in the fall and in the spring. And Tuesday was Veterans Day. However, on Wednesday, Troy University students had the chance to help out some veteran-related charities while having a little fun. Once again, here's Sarah Singletary.
Earlier today, Freshman Forum hosted the Bounce for Veterans event in remembrance of Veterans Day. Members of Freshman Forum chose to celebrate veterans by donating the proceeds of the event to the Wounded Warrior Project. One Freshman Forum member tells us what inspired the event.
Well, for Bounce for Veterans, we really just wanted to have a fun event that everybody could come out and have a good time and enjoy just being able to bounce around, have fun listening to music and dancing around. And it worked out well with the Ruckathon, people being here too. So we're all just trying to support each other and support a great cause.
Donations to the Wounded Warrior Project earned students a run through the obstacle course. One student tells us why she chose to participate.
Seeing Freshman Forum out here really inspired me because my dad is a veteran and he was wounded during the time he was in war, so I really thought this would be a great opportunity to do a part and have some fun.
Today's event was the organization's first of the semester. Freshman Forum Traditions Committee Chairman gives us an insight on the overall success of the event.
We feel really good about it. We came together as a team. All committees have helped in to make this activity a success. We really just wanted to not only just put Freshman Forum's name out there, but just show our hard work that we're putting in throughout the school.
Sarah Singletary, Troy TrojanVision News.
Troy's Johnson Center for the Arts is known for bringing in art from many state and regional artists, but right now the center has some classic works from artists known throughout the world thanks to a local art collector. Dustin Allen explains.
The Johnson Center for the Arts, located in downtown Troy, has introduced the Troy community to a new form of art. The center is now showcasing artwork from European artists titled the European Masters Exhibit. The exhibit began November 1st and offers art lovers the chance to view pieces from around the world.
To have such an extensive work of master artists, you would have to go to Atlanta, New York City, even to Paris. To be able to see all the different artists that we have on exhibition here. So this is a really fantastic opportunity and treat for the people in our area to be able to come and see these artists.
But how in the world has this artwork landed in Troy, Alabama? The collector is Dr. Doug Hawkins, the former president of the Board of Trustees for Troy University. He explains why he loves collecting this artwork.
I've just always enjoyed collecting, but when I was on a ship one time in the Mediterranean, I ran across the Picasso that's out there in the hall, and that kind of set me on fire. I've enjoyed it very, very much because, you know, it's so fascinating because every artist is different.
With such a large amount of exquisite artwork and big names such as Picasso and Warhol, one might think that to view such art would be expensive. However, the cost of the exhibit might surprise you.
The Johnson Center exhibits are always free. We're open on Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays from 10 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, and then on Saturdays from 10 until 3.
Although the exhibit is set to end on December 20th, Dr. Hawkins says though nothing has been yet confirmed, he is hoping the pieces will have a more permanent home at Troy University. Dustin Allen, Troy TrojanVision News.
The European Masters collection will be on display until December 20th at the Johnson Center for the Arts. The center is located on Walnut Street in downtown Troy. And has text slang become, and jargon, gone too far? Well, one group of Troy University professors say they're tired of receiving emails that aren't properly composed with complete spelling and sentences. On Wednesday, the English department held a forum to help students understand the correct way to email professors. Courtney Addison shows us more.
It's not uncommon to use shorthand text messaging while communicating to your best friends or even a family member. But there are some cases where that is unacceptable. And according to English professor Ben Robertson, an email to your professor is one of those cases.
You get this sense that, you get this kind of feeling that maybe the person writing the email doesn't actually care. And that kind of makes the student look bad, actually.
And how often do teachers receive these incomprehensive emails?
All the time. Very common, all the time.
Robertson added that an email isn't the place to tell your sob story. He says teachers don't have the time to read a life story. Instead, emails should get straight to the point.
To the point, get to the point, and a really lengthy discussion isn't necessary.
But what should students keep in mind while writing?
You need to identify yourself. If you can, maybe identify which class you're in, and then be really very clear about what you're confused about or what you want or what kind of problems you're having, that kind of thing.
Robertson said that if a professor hasn't responded to your email in 2 to 3 business days, it is okay to resend that email. Courtney Addison, Troy TrojanVision News.
Students interested in ways they can clean up grammar in emails can pick up an email etiquette handout in Smith Hall. And we'll take a short break, but when we return, we'll meet a few Troy students with interesting stories to tell. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
We are America's swim team, united by goggle marks,
dry skin,
and webbed feet.
Separated by seconds.
Bound by friendships.
We have superhuman powers, superhuman lungs,
superhuman strength. And we love
that after the chlorine wears off
and the water drains from our ears,
we are still America's swim team.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
We are America's swim team.
Get your You're not in here.
Yes, I am.
Move! Give it to him hard!
No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stabbing me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how.
Oh,
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Now, more of the award-winning Troy TrojanVision News.
Troy University is full of a variety of students, and some of them have some interesting stories to tell. This week on Troy TrojanVision News, we started our Trojan Profile series, taking a look at some noteworthy students on Troy's campus. In our first segment, Bethany Wilson introduces us to a young woman who uses a hobby to help fund a mission trip.
While not in school, you're likely to find Troy University student Kaylee Jones making bracelets through her own business, KB Jones Stones, to raise money for a Costa Rica mission trip.
I actually started KB Jones Stones 3 months ago on my brother's couch when I was pondering the idea of how in the world I was supposed to raise $1,000 before December, and that seems like a really foreign goal when you're in college and broke.
Jones says that although she's already raised enough money to get to Costa Rica, she's hoping to raise even more to help with other expenses.
My trip is from December 14th through the 31st, and the total cost of the trip is $900. I've already raised $700 for my plane ticket, and the other $200 is going to cost for my food and living expenses with the missionaries that I'm staying with. And I'm hoping to raise about $1,200 more in order to help buy shoes for the local children.
Jones says most of her sales have been made online, and social media has been a great way to market her business.
My Instagram has been a big part of the success I've had so far. I have actually sold bracelets through Etsy to fashion bloggers in Tennessee and Illinois, and they have tagged me in their blogs and in their Instagram posts, and so I feel like that's probably had a lot to do with my success.
Jones says she's had a lot of support and appreciates any help she can get.
Luckily, I've had a lot of support as far as making the bracelets, and I always have people in my church asking me, how can I help you make them? How can I help you make them? Over and over, and I'm like, well, I don't really know. I just do it myself. And so I've had some ladies in the church help me cut wire and help me pair the bracelets together in a stack, and it helps my fingers out a lot.
Jones will continue selling the bracelets when she returns from Costa Rica in hopes of raising enough money to go back next summer. Bethany Wilson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And in our next Trojan Profile segment, Grant Norris introduces us to one Troy student whose acrobatic hobby has turned into a lifestyle.
Clint Hillman may seem like your typical nursing student, but when he doesn't have his nose in the books, you can find him around campus using his legs to parkour. Clint is a senior and has been doing parkour for 3 years now, but how did he stumble upon this hobby?
Honestly, I just kind of started off watching it on YouTube one day, and I figured, you know what, it'd be really cool if I tried that. And sure enough, I went out back and tried a few moves, and I loved it. And from there, I just picked it up and ran with it. And now here I am 3 years later.
Clint seems to be a master at his old hobby, but what exactly is parkour?
Definition of it is movement in the most efficient, quickest manner possible from A to B. A simple question to ask yourself when doing a move is, would this move help me widen the gap between whoever's chasing me?
Parkour may seem wild and reckless, but Clint advises extreme precaution.
If you even have the slightest, even 1% doubt that you can't do something without getting hurt, don't do it. Parkour is not about trying to impress people. It's about you developing character, you developing patience, you developing confidence in your own ability to move. And not just that, but in life in general.
Parkour may look difficult on the surface, but Clint encourages anyone to try it.
Anyone can do parkour. I mean, it's one of those things where a common misconception is that it's often mistaken for a sport, when in reality, like I said before, it's a lifestyle.
Clint holds the art of parkour near to his heart, and when asked where he would be without it, he responded humorously.
I know I'd weigh about 50 more pounds than I do now. But yeah, I honestly don't know. I mean, it's just, I feel like it's a part of my personality now, so I guess I just feel incomplete in some way.
Grant Norris, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And in our last Trojan Profile segment, Grishma Ramal takes a look at the man responsible for getting Troy's student newspaper out every week.
Being editor-in-chief of a newspaper is many people's dream, but one student is living it already. Chase Robinson is the editor-in-chief of the Tripolitan and takes command in producing the weekly paper.
I started working with the Trop a year and a half ago.
One of my friends was the A&E editor at the time, so I came and started writing for him.
After working as a writer and a copy editor, Robinson decided to step up as editor-in-chief as he felt like he had something to contribute. The job, however, he said, does preoccupy him all the time.
I live in the drop office. I'm here all week, sometimes on weekends. Sometimes I sneak in and just sleep here because I'm afraid news will happen.
The life of an editor-in-chief may be a hectic one, but Chase Robinson says he enjoys it, and the best part about it is the people he works with.
I enjoy spending time with the staff. That's why I can be in the office 8 or 9 hours a day.
The staff in return says they also enjoy having him as their chief.
Chase is someone who really helps me out. I'm new to this editor business, and he makes sure that I get what I need every week. Very reliable. He's also awesome for me to call in a pinch to help me figure out what to put on the page.
He wears yellow shirts a lot. He looks just like a big ball of sunshine, just bursting into the office.
So where does Robinson see himself after he graduates?
Living in someone else's newspaper office, probably.
Robinson said that he hopes the experience he gains from being editor-in-chief will equip him to become a better journalist when he goes out into the professional field. Grishma Rimal, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
You can catch more of our Trojan Profile series all next week on Troy Trojan Vision News. And La Couture Fashion Club is a Troy University organization that lets students express themselves through their style, clothing, and fashion. Wednesday night, the organization put on their annual fall fashion show. Xavier Harris has the story.
Wednesday afternoon, Troy University's La Couture Fashion Troupe hosted their annual fall show, Fiercely Cultured. This show gave students a chance to come out and view some stylish and unique clothing put together in one big fashion show.
Today we're having our La Couture fashion show. It is called Fiercely Cultured, hosted by Philip Hudson. We are basically putting on a fall fashion show for the whole school. We want everybody to be able to express their own fashion, express their own interest in modeling, and so we have a troupe that we bring together through auditions, and then we showcase our own fashion styles, our own ideas, and we put them in on a fashion show.
One of La Couture stylists explains exactly how he gets each member prepared and styles them for each show.
I give the people the chance to exude who they are first, and then we're going to mold them into what the scene requires.
And while the La Couture Fashion Club hosts this event every semester, the event coordinator tells us exactly how she gets her ideas for the title of her show.
I just basically thought about what was in, something different, something that I ain't never really seen before, and something with many aspects that can be brought to life.
Roger also explains how this year's students had the chance to come out and see a celebrity host this year's show.
We picked somebody that we knew the crowd was going to enjoy. We actually seen an ad that he posted, and I just went out on a limb and took my chance on look and talked to him. He actually wasn't in our price range, but I just did the best I could and gave him my personality that I would give anybody else and just asked for a favor.
The La Couture members tells exactly what their favorite part about not only being a member of the organization, but during the fashion show.
My favorite part of the show has been meeting the troupe.
Just getting to see the creativity and meeting other new people.
The confidence in everybody's walks.
The La Couture troupe explains fashion as an unspoken language, so when you speak, speak well. Xavier Harris, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll hear some offerings from our friends at Troy Public Radio, so don't touch that dial.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
This could be a bicycle. Or a bat. This could be a robot. Or an airplane. This could be a playground. This could be a book bag. Or a soccer ball. This could be a book. This could be beautiful. This cannot be trash. This can all be recycled. Learn more at thiscouldbe.org.
Now, more of the award-winning Troy Trojan Vision News.
Each week we take some time to hear some of the work done by our broadcast partners at Troy Public Radio. This week we'll get another sample of Talk of Troy, the student-produced newscast of Troy Public Radio. Now, let's take a listen.
It's the Talk of Troy. Voices and sounds from the campuses of Troy University. I'm David Cadell. Troy University officials recently awarded nearly 200 degrees during 3 commencement ceremonies in Vietnam in October. And producer Joey Hudson has the story.
On October 21st, Chancellor Jack Hawkins, a veteran of the war in Vietnam, presided over ceremonies held at Vietnam National University.
The reason we've sought to internationalize Troy University is simply to add value to the educational experience.
Troy University became the first American institution of higher education to confer the baccalaureate degree to students in Vietnam in 2008.
The first time we came, we were carrying bullets. This time we were carrying books, and at my age, I prefer books.
Today, Troy enrolls more than 1,000 students in Vietnam, and 69 Vietnamese students are currently enrolled on the university's campus in Troy, Alabama. For the Talk of Troy, I'm Joey Hudson.
The Troy University Collegiate Singers Concert, Magnificat, will feature music from gospel to baroque and sacred to secular. That's according to the choir's director, Dr. James Brown.
I really feel that the importance of what I do is about sharing different genres and types of music, but not trying to make anyone feel uncomfortable with the kind of music they're doing, and that they feel that they can gain something from that experience.
Magnificat will also feature members of the Montgomery Symphony Orchestra, something that Brown hopes will be a recurring event.
I don't want my students to miss out on the opportunities to work with other kinds of medium with the choral art form.
Magnificat by the Collegiate Singers will take place at Bush Memorial Baptist Church on George Wallace Street on Friday, November 21st at 7 p.m. Thanks for listening to the Talk of Troy. Our show is a production of Troy Public Radio.
Throughout the week, Troy Public Radio can be heard on 89.9 in Troy and Montgomery, 88.7 in Dothan, and 91.1 in Phoenix City. And it's time for our last break. When we return, we'll learn about a student organization that lets students learn what it's like to live in the Middle Ages. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money.
Prospective students can learn more about Troy University and apply for admission free of fees during an open house starting at 5:30 Tuesday in Whitley Hall on the Troy campus in downtown Montgomery.
Admission is free and open to the public. All application fees will be waived for any application submitted during the open house.
Participants will be able to take part in breakout sessions and learn more about academic programs and services offered at the Montgomery campus.
Expert advisors will be on hand to discuss academic strategies for career development, financial aid, the admissions process, and credit transfers.
This is the perfect time to start or grow your career.
Tuesday, November 18th, starting at 5:30 on the Troy campus in downtown Montgomery.
Now, more of the award-winning Troy TrojanVision News.
There's a Troy University organization that allows students to experience what life was like in medieval times. I recently had the chance to sit down with the man responsible for bringing this group back to campus. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Today you learn how medieval times comes together with the modern era and the Society of Creative Anachronism. My guest today, President of the College of Ilium here at Troy, Ray Jeffcoat. Ray, thanks for joining me here today.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
And obviously the folks at home can see that you are not wearing what a typical college student would be wearing. This is looks a little bit older for most people's taste. So tell us a little about why you're wearing what you're wearing and what the Society for Creative Anachronism is.
Well, the Society of Creative Anachronism is all about researching and reproducing the Middle Ages. We pick a specific area in medieval Europe and we'll bring it back and show people how it worked, how we did the things we did back in our old times. Now, this is all period. I'm studying the 12th century Scotland during the Crusades. And so my character would have probably gone on Crusades. We even pick medieval names. I'm a student. I go by Ray Jeffcoat. People call me all the time. But in SCA, they call me Conor MacWilliam.
Okay.
And that's just what I go by. And the SCA will bring it back, and we show the populace how it works, and it's really neat.
And so, and a lot of people, when you actually have one of these events, you're, wearing a little bit more than what you're wearing right now. I mean, you guys put on full suits of armor and have combat. Talk about that and what goes into putting together a suit of armor and actually hitting someone with another weapon.
Well, putting together a suit of armor is pretty interesting. I'm actually going through the process right now working on my armor with a master. A master is somebody who has mastered an art or a science. And he's helping me make it, and we go through steel and wrap it and make it just like how they would have made it with a few modern accommodations for safety regulation. And then we put padding through it. And it's pretty interesting to see. Some people weld it because it's a little stronger than riveting. Some people do both because it's kind of neat to watch.
But you actually get into combat though with
yes,
this.
Yes.
But you're not using real swords.
No.
So.
Now there are live weapons training, and that I have not seen personally. I have heard about it, and I know we do it. Mostly though, we use something called rattan, which is just it's a wood kind of like bamboo, except whenever it hits and breaks, it splinters, or not splinters. I apologize. It disintegrates like a grain. And we use real shields and stuff like that to block it, or some people will make pole arms out of it. Some people will make axes out of it. All various different types of weapons.
And so, and you travel back in time through this era and do this stuff and kind of show what's going on. But how long have you been doing this?
I've only been doing this about 3 years. I started back in what is called the Shire of Thorngill. And that's actually up in Prattville area, Montgomery, Millbrook, all around that area.
And so now you came to Troy and learned a little bit of history that there used to be a program here, and this is new to Troy, but not necessarily because you revitalized a program that used to be here. Talk about how all that came about.
Well, I originally had a man named Hugh Yarbo. He popped up and asked me to asked me where I was going to school and whatnot. And I told him Troy, and he got really excited. He's a Troy alumni. He actually started a group down here called Fallen Star. And I said, well, that's very interesting. And unfortunately, there is not a group here. Not until recently, of course. And I decided at that point that I love the SCA so much that I was going to bring back that group, bring it back alive.
And so you did, and now you have your official status here at Troy University. You've got the organization together. Now, what's your membership at this point?
My membership at this point is about 30. We have 30 members.
Okay.
Give or take. Now, a lot of them are new. We have some people who have been in the SCA for a long time, and they're coming back. We have one guy who's been in it since he was born.
And so now for these new people, they're learning the ropes. Are they doing like some of the things you're talking about, like building their costumes, getting it together?
Yeah.
How long is the learning process of getting involved?
It's quite a long learning process, and I do want to emphasize though that fighting is only a small part. There are so many other things you get to do. There are some people who do want to fight, and that's all they want to do, and that's acceptable. Other people want to study how they cooked, how they did art. Illuminations is a famous one that you see. Calligraphy. You have people who do bookbinding, people who do brewing, all sorts of different things. All of this is all through the SCA, and they teach all these wonderful, wonderful techniques to do.
And so people can get involved. Now, at this time, are you still looking for members? People can still get involved with the organization?
Yes, people can still get involved with the organization. We are actually going to be going on an event here soon. We're going to be going on the 25th. We're going down to Fort Gaines on Dauphin Island. And we're actually going to have a siege.
Oh, there you go. So that should be fun and interesting.
Yes.
And if anybody wants to get involved, how can they get involved?
They can just get in contact with me. They can call me on my cell phone number, and we'll get them hooked up, and they can come to the meetings and whatnot. We have them usually either a Tuesday or a Friday at TC 224.
Okay.
Or they can just find us on Facebook. We're College of Ilium.
College of Ilium on Facebook. Well, good luck with your upcoming siege, and here's hoping that maybe you can get some more people interested in studying the Middle Ages. Thanks for joining me here today.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's what happened on the second week of November 2014. To find out what's happening throughout the week, you can tune in to Troy TrojanVision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30. Hope you join us here next week. Have a good week.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back. your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.